Well, good morning, everybody. Let me once again welcome you to this summit to discuss how we can really bring the new technologies to tackle some of the world challenges we're facing today, climate change, and also land and water scarcity. The topic is very timely as we move towards the discussion of the post-2015 agenda. Yes, we do need to make sure that the poor people, hungry people will have access to food, nutritious food. In the meantime, we also have to make sure that the food production has to be sustainable. So this new book will provide very much needed evidence for that debate. So Mark, let me congratulate you, your team, to work together. You will see that book has 10 authors. This is typical IFPRI work, teamwork. So 10 to be exact. I'm not going to thank them, each one of them. So Mark, thank you for your leadership in bringing this book out. We know that global food security is faced with some enormous challenges, such as population growth, the shifting consumption patterns, people wanted to eat more meat, and our income growth, obviously. And that growth will require 80% more meat and 52% of more cereals, such as rice, wheat, maize, and 40% more roots and tubers to be produced by 2050. So compared to today or 2015 levels, we have to produce more. Then under the same conditions, food prices and the number of people at risk of hunger are expected to rise. So business as usual, we will see more people who are at risk of hunger and malnutrition. So the ability to meet rising food demand will be constrained by increased pressure of land and water resources. So for example, the world water availability is projected to shrink by 1/3 in 2050 due to population growth alone. So that has not taken into consideration of income growth, urbanization, which will come very rapidly in the next 2 or 3 decades. So the challenge of meeting increased food demand using a limited resource base will be further exacerbated by climate change. We know that climate change is happening. Climate change will come, or has come, and it will hit us even harder or sooner than we thought. Then climate change threatens agriculture production through higher and more variable temperatures, changes in precipitation patterns, and increased occurrences of extreme events such as floods and droughts. So by 2050, the climate change could reduce wheat yields by 9 to 18%, rice yields by 7 to 27%, maize yields by 18 to 36% respectively. So all this number came from this book. Investment in agriculture research and development will determine our ability to spur the necessary growth in food production. So advances in technology represent one of the most powerful instruments for increasing yields, mitigating, adapting to the pressure of resource scarcity and climate change. Pest and drought-resistant seed varieties, precision agriculture, integrated soil fertility management, and improved irrigation systems are a few examples. So I have dedicated probably 2 decades of my time in researching on science and technology policy in agriculture, and I found that the returns to that type of research is very high. So every dollar invested, usually you would expect $7, $10 in return. So Mark, you didn't highlight that in your book. That's one of the future areas you can try to look at. These technologies can also bring very high economic returns in addition to a more food secured world, in addition to the reduction in poverty and hunger. And indeed, Mark's book shows that in terms of food security, some of the technologies can help to reduce the number of poor significantly. For example, the nitrogen use efficiency could lead to 12% reduction in the number of people at risk of hunger by 2050 compared to 2005. So just that technology, nitrogen use efficiency, can lead to very high impact on poverty, hunger reduction. And we know that the nitrogen in many countries, China, India, have not been used efficiently and effectively. So these impacts could vary across by different regions. So this is another features of the book. So this to disaggregate the analysis by different geographic regions down to a very micro level. So in Africa, south of the Sahara, so no-till approach combined with irrigation could lead to over 100% increase in maize yields by 2050. So 100 yields, you can double the yield just by using no-till approach, the combination of irrigation. In China and the US, the drought-tolerant varieties can increase maize yields by up to 13%. So the drought-tolerant, so the returns to that investment will be extremely high. So IFPRI has long been working on these issues, so I'm pleased that this type of work will once again push the frontier on potential appropriate technology mixes that will increase our ability to feed future generations without damaging our natural resource base. So let me once again thank you for participating in this great debate. I also wanted to thank some of my colleagues from IFPRI coming from 10 blocks away under such a cold weather. IFPRI is a global institution. Our headquarters is at 21 and K, but we have offices in more than 20 countries. So check our website. We have knowledge products, data, models, analysis, and some very sort of brief materials like what you have seen this one. So if you are very busy, don't look at that book. Look at the 2 or 3 pages first, so you can have some appetite first. So let me thank you. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to a very lively debate today. Great.